Live from the AMP Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And welcome to Thursday afternoon. And you know, it's funny because tonight we're going to be doing music. So you brought in music, different sounds, different vibrations, kind of cool. So I took this from the kids because take one.
Take one.
Take one.
Josh is busy today doing a whole lot of music. That open was with our longtime friend, Boomy Benjamin. That is the didgeridoo? Yes. The didgeridoo. We're going to find out more about that. We had a lot of music happening right here in the cafe and Cafe Night Train. We've got Boomy Benjamin joining us. She's a DJ, sound healer. So we're going with the sound healing aspect because tonight we've got J.C. Dreesen at 7 o'clock. No other voice like that other than Broadway. And then at 7:30, we've got Vertigo. The U2 tribute band's going to be joining us. So a whole lot of fun. And I believe we're having some wine tasting also.
Yeah, Chico's going to be here with his frequency wine as well.
Ah, look at
Remember?
that.
He
Isn't
has
that
the
interesting
different
how all that...
wines that have different frequencies. I like to taste what Frank's frequency wine would taste like.
It'd be interesting. They're
'Cause
showing me a harp.
Frank is going to play a harp?
Every time Frank comes, he brings angels with him. So today we'll see who he brings with him. But you're right, Chico's wine is all infused with sound vibration.
That's what we talked about that. We did a show about that.
Interesting. Sonar Wines, Ronnie
It's
DeChico.
wine tastings that come on down. Be here by, I guess, 6 o'clock to
Whenever
to
we
talk,
finish.
whatever. And we're going to be here at least till 8:30, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a
There's
lot
going
of
to be multiple sets done today. So there's a high number of expected people, so I'm going to have to spread them around throughout the studio.
you do what
a
you
little
do
over
best.
there, a little over there, a little
Sprinkle
over
it
there.
around a little here and there.
You're going to have to.
We had a great morning there. Everyone's been a little bit busy. We had our morning show and then Movie Wars. We had a repeat match. We had Frank Ruffalo and Jay Harmon up against the hosts of Josh and Daniel. And I think the hosts won this round. They got Bean Boozled. You got what? Dead fish?
I got dead fish.
Dead fish, and Jay got peach
What the,
on the Bean Boozled. How bad was the dead fish?
Actually, it wasn't that bad, but it tasted kind of funky.
you know, that really is that fish.
I guess so.
Totally Bean Boozled. We got Boomy with us, and I think the crew is putting together some good news. I see non-political, but breaking news was the sentencing of the Parkland shooter that just came out. So
What was the sentence?
interesting. The verdict was he will spend life in prison.
And what was the comment that the judge made?
The comment said, well, I can't tell you it was the judge. It might have been the reporter.
What was the comment?
He does not deserve to die for this.
He doesn't deserve to die for this. Okay.
Like he won't, everyone dies, but he's not going to die because of his actions that he pled guilty to in the February 14th shooting.
Now, the only thing I wanted to ask was, so I guess they don't find him incompetent due to mental duress.
I can read the article and find out.
Well, the
Just
funny,
breaking
well, I
news.
can't, because if he's getting life, that means they found him competent enough to stand trial. Now, you do know that if you're found incompetent and you go in and they heal you, allegedly, they gotta let you go. That's what happened with the guy who shot Reagan. He's walking around now because they found out that he's no longer hurtful to society, I guess. So I guess this gentleman is not, well, whatever he is. He's
So it's
not,
interesting. The jury recommended that he would spend life in prison. And according to Florida law, the judge cannot depart from the jury's recommendation.
Yeah,
So the judge can't change and say, you say one thing, I say another. The judge has to go with the jury's recommendation. Sentencing hearing set for November 1st.
well, the hearing set for, I mean, it's already done. He's going to serve.
I guess
they
she's gotta
say
give the
where. federal prison or some kind of, wherever he goes, he's never going to be safe no matter what.
Life in
Yeah,
prison.
he's got the convicts he's got to worry about.
Well, now he has a whole different ball of wax to worry about.
Without the possibility of parole. But I think it's Christina is what you had just said also.
That's the other thing. You don't want to be able to have parole in that whole situation. You see where the gentleman that was found innocent of a murder 23 years ago, who was a promising career to be a doctor and everything else, and something derailed that thing, and he ended up behind bars, and they just released him, I think, 2 days ago. 23 years, man. That is unbelievable. DNA proves that he wasn't even there. Where would we be without DNA? Do you know how many people on death row they're finding out that the DNA wasn't part of the crime? And they're on death row? Can you imagine the anguish of you being on for 20 years on death row, or 10 years, or whatever the hell it is, and you've been telling people, I didn't do it, I wasn't even there, and now they have DNA that proves you're not there? My God, you don't come out normal.
No.
No, you can't. It totally changes your life.
And there ain't enough money in the world. Oh, we're sorry, here's $10 million. No, you're never going to get that back. I mean, your inner core must be a mess with that kind of stuff. So
The Innocence Project, when my son was at University of Florida, he volunteered for the Innocence Project in Gainesville, and that is part of why he went on the path he went on, because so many people are wrongfully accused, wrongfully convicted. And if someone's not on their side to actually fight for them, because a lot of times you don't, who has the money to actually take it up where it needs to go once you're in prison? There are those that are wrongfully accused and convicted, like that one.
And then you have people who don't commit crimes but do commit crimes. Like Alex Jones guy, they just got ordered to pay whatever millions, $960 million, and that's not the penalized money. Now the judge has to penalize in the other part of the equation. And then he has more juries waiting for him in Texas. Now all those families are going to get together and they're going to sue this guy for spilling false stuff about the shootings up in Sandy Hook. And that in itself is a crime. I felt horrible that the parents have to live through this again. He says, no money in the world is going to bring my son back, as the guy was saying. Matter of fact, you can keep the money. You can keep the object of the game here is, why would anybody say that was a hoax? I mean, why would you do something like that?
I don't know, but I'm glad.
Endgame.
I'm glad we have the guests that we have today, because anytime you turn on the news, you're going to get negative news. It's always, right? It's the way, I think, my opinion, and we're in the media business, of keeping people at this low vibration, this low energy, always waking up in fear, going to sleep with anxiety, because that's all your brain hears. Even if you try to tune it out, it becomes addicting, and that's all you're programmed to hear. So you don't hear the good news. I'm really glad that we're going to talk about music, sound healing. We've got Frank, who always hears his muses and writes through that. We had someone in the other day, we were thinking of Frank also. Oh, Paul Martini.
Paul Martini.
Talking about what he does through music. Music heals. Whether you like certain music and certain tones. Freddie's sitting here booming, and because my left ear, I think she just cured it.
I've heard this instrument played before, and it has a certain effect on my ears. They sort of tingle
It's really
when you hear it.
interesting.
The low droning sound. I love the low droning sounds.
Talk into your mic, hon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's interesting the way the way it's played has a different vibration, and you can sort of feel that goes on. One of the things I'm trying to accomplish is to bring in different vibrations, because I see how people are affected by things that are going on. I see what Frank does when he's standing in front of, let's say, Paul and his wife, and how they're affected, and Sally and how she's affected. Everybody has a different effect on these vibrations, whether it's touch, whether it's sound, whether it's music, whether it's lights that I always try to turn on.
I know, we walk around in the dark. But Boomy, tell me about this instrument, the didgeridoo. Didgeridoo?
It is called a didgeridoo, and most people call it didge for short because it's kind of hard to pronounce.
Hold on a second. What happened? Her mic is off. Make it green.
Her mic is off, all right.
You see the green light?
There it is.
Okay. Say that again.
Can you hear
What's
me
it
now?
called?
Didgeridoo, the didge.
great. Yes, this is a didgeridoo. Most people call it a didge for short because it's pretty hard to pronounce sometimes. And this is a healing instrument for me. It's an Aboriginal instrument. It's been around for like thousands of years, and they've used it for ceremonies, for rituals as well. And it helps to really enhance the mood, deals with anxiety, and also I've heard that it does a lot with healing body tissues as well. But it's a wonderful instrument. I love the low droning sound. And I have to do like a circular motion when I'm blowing into this instrument, and it's sort of healing for me as well. But it's a great instrument. It's a great healing instrument. And so many people use different modalities as far as like meditation. And this is something that I choose to use, the didgeridoo, for sound bath meditations.
What is that made from?
It's wood from trees, basically. Like I said, it's a woodwind instrument. It's hollow. You can see the inside there. It's open on the inside, and it's made from trees.
Is that instrument originally from Australia? The,
Yes. Yes.
What is that called? This
Aborigines?
Aboriginal, yes, exactly. I also heard that women were not allowed to play this instrument thousands of years ago because of fertility.
It increased
as well.
fertility? Probably.
It does something to it, right?
I'd venture to say the sound healing would probably increase it because it's like acupuncture, changes the vibration when it opens up.
So only men were allowed to actually play this instrument.
Of course they were.
Yeah, it was really
So you
interesting.
have
I haven't
pregnant
really
men?
read up on it
Is that
much.
what-
No, probably doesn't.
Frank, can you enlighten us on the pregnant men that blew into this thing?
How did you get interested in playing this?
Well, I have to tell you the story. Years ago, before I got into DJing, I was in the fashion industry, and I used to travel and MC for designers and cover different events. And also I used to go to different networking events as well, just to connect with other entrepreneurs, because at that time I did have a graphic design, web design company. So I was really trying to promote what I was doing. And one day I was in bed and I was just talking to God, and I'm like, God, there's so much more to who I am and what I do. And I love music, and I believe in spreading that love and healing energy through music, but I wanted an instrument that was for me in order to spread more of that healing. And that's when I came across the didgeridoo.
And how'd you learn to learn to play it on your own?
Yes, I did. Self-taught. And I just started just learning different techniques. I'm still learning. There's a lot more that I still need to learn. But it's a wonderful instrument, and I call her Halina. This is my baby.
And the vibrations, they're a low drone, as you call it.
Yes, it's a low droning sound. And
It helps with meditation. How? Tell me how
helps
sound
with
healing
centering,
helps.
centering and balancing. It helps, like I said before, with mood enhancement, healing different body tissues, but it really helps to peel back the onions, the layers. I've had different clients come to me, and they've gone through different sessions. And with the didgeridoo, I love where it peels back the layers, because there's so much that's coming up for a lot of people, like subconsciously, when they think they've gotten over something, if they've dealt with different issues, and they realize, oh, wait, it's still there. So this really helps to just really go deep and just peel back the onion, like I said. It's a wonderful instrument.
And you work with a lot of groups. We met Boomy 6 or 7 years ago at the first WEX, Women Empowerment Expo, with Alexa Carlin. We've met a lot of amazing, great women through that event. So many that we still, right, you worked with Michelle, who was Dempsey at the time, and Natalia Levy, and so many great people that were coming from that space when women empowerment, hard to believe, was just becoming a thing 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Because you think how far we've come, but in 6 years, I remember this because I was working with Freddie, and you got a phone call from someone out in California, and they said, do you produce any shows with female hosts that are about women empowerment? And his answer was no.
No.
I don't have any. That's not what we are doing yet. And then
And then the wheels
fast
came
forward
off the
7
bus.
years ago, 7 years, but you think we've only been doing this for 7 years? We've only been in the public eye, I guess, Boomy, for 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
You DJ'd that event.
I did, and
That
I
would
believe
remember.
Boston Proper was there
Boston
too.
Proper
They had
fashion
the
show.
fashion
We were right
show.
in front. We filmed all of that. That was your mom went to that. Thing. That's where I
Everyone
met
went
your
to that
mom.
event, which was really fantastic.
And I actually just started DJing in 2016.
Right,
And
you
that
were
was
new
what
to
year
it
was
as well.
that? What year was that? 2017 was it?
17.
Yeah, so I was only DJing. I started in July of 2016. My very first gig, I actually had a client. Her name was Connie Borgia, and she was in the fashion industry. And she called me one day and said, well, my DJ, he decided that he did not want to cover the event. So I jumped in my car and I drove cross country to California. It took me 2 days and 8 hours.
Wow.
I'm like, I have you. It's fine. And I didn't know anything about DJing. So I'm like, I'll just bring my laptop, play some music. It's okay. We'll make it happen. And that's what I did. So when I got there, I DJ'd the event from 10 o'clock in the morning during the pop-up. I did the red carpet. And also I worked with the fashion designers for their music for the runway. And I ended about 11 o'clock that night. And that was when my career in DJing started, because while I was there, I started to receive different phone calls from women who I connected with during the networking events for the year prior, and I've been just busy. It's been a blessing for me to just do what I do, and I don't have to ask for anything. It's just connection after connection, blessing after blessing. So that's pretty much how I got started with DJing.
Which is so interesting because there's the South Florida Girls Night Out South Florida, which is November 10th, I believe, is
Yes,
coming up.
November 10th, that's coming up. It will be at the Pavilion Grill, Boca, and it's going to be an amazing event. It's put on by Elise Roberts and her team, which I love her. She is an amazing individual. So it's a lot of different women entrepreneurs coming together and just celebrating one another and supporting one another underneath one roof. We'll have music, we'll have a fashion show, and a lot of different vendors out there. So it will be indeed a great event.
How did you meet Elise?
Oh my God, I met her through a mutual friend. Well, the story that she told me, she was looking for a DJ, and then she received so many different recommendations where my name came up like 3 times, and one of them was through Renee Segal, who is an amazing individual herself. And that's pretty much how we connected, and she gave me a call, and then we just talked, and we just vibed. It was wonderful. And I said, yes, let's go ahead and make it happen. So here we are now, and we're making it happen with so many other women in her team.
It's going to be such a great event.
Oh, yeah,
It
absolutely.
is a free event for anyone that wants to attend. I believe tickets are live on Eventbrite, Girls Night South Florida. You can check all of that out. I'm sure Boomy has the link as well. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, more with some healing music with the Didge and Boomy. And we've got Frank Ruffolo joining us. So it's all about frequency, sound healing. See what else we got coming down. 888-994-4995, Studio A. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing. Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Welcome to Movies of Del Rey, a family-run movie theater that has been serving the Del Rey and Boca community for over 30 years. Open Wednesday through Sunday, Movies of Del Rey offers great admission prices, low concession prices, and quality customer service. Movies of Del Rey provides the quality of the big box theaters without the price tag. Movies of Del Rey provides new Hollywood content as well as new indie and independent movies. It truly is a hidden gem. Whether you're hosting a private event, party, or fundraiser, or are looking for your next date night activity, Movies of Del Rey is the perfect choice. Come on down to Movies of Del Rey, located at 7421 West Atlantic Ave in Del Rey Beach, or visit us online at moviesofdelrey.com.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties. Open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Very nice. Who put that together, Miss Seafood?
Katie put that together. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, she's put that piece together, and most of us are wearing pink in the studio.
Oh, here we go. It's
I
been
should have
since
brought
this morning.
You know what? I'm going to get you that pink ribbon. I'm going to tie it around your hat.
I don't have pink. I don't own anything.
That's all right. I'm going to take that pink ribbon off the camera and we'll tie it around Freddie's hat.
I put it around my ear
Okay, you can do that. Now that Boomy's healed you.
in memory of, no, that's this year. In memory of Pink Awareness this month, Cancer
Shout
Awareness.
out to Katie. And Bree was saying, did you know men can get breast cancer? Yeah, and unfortunately what's happening is the incidence of cancer in our screenings. It's always insurance companies, who to get what. So talk to your doctor, consult your radiologist, your gynecologist. If you don't believe in regular mammograms, go for a thermography. Just get checked. As they say, get your tatas checked, because you got to get pre-screening and screening all the time.
Get your what checked?
Tatas.
Tatas.
Tatas. You know,
Tata.
they're changing the recommendation. They're saying you should now, they're only recommending every other year. I don't understand why they go backwards in recommendations for checking on things for women. I don't ever see them going back and checking on things for men. And you can self-prescribe your own mammogram, ladies. So
You know, we talked to somebody who did the heat,
the thermography.
and I spoke to somebody, and she says, yeah, they do that once in a while, and she like blew it away from me. And I said, because a lot of people, they can't afford to get this done apparently. Is this covered by insurance?
Thermography is not. Mammograms are. And I also think there are free mammograms, because you can self-prescribe, that are covered for anyone to get screened, so you are not denied services. And then beyond that, I don't know. Ultrasounds are not covered by insurance. If you have breast tissue, that's pretty much not covered by insurance. But again, if you have to be proactive, it's better than to be reactive, unfortunately, if you, heaven forbid, get diagnosed. So get them checked, always awareness. You got to check yourself out. Men too. I know Frank's gone through, everyone's got something they're going through in life.
That's true. You want to do what you got to do. Colonoscopy is the next one. I was told I had to have one done in November. Ugh.
Have your prostate checked.
Yeah, now that they're down there, they might as well take all of the.
Yep. You know,
Save
Save
November
me.
is
Have your prostate checked. Men should have their prostate checked.
once
Yeah,
a year, I
everything
believe,
checked.
right?
Have your toes checked, your ears checked, all of it.
What's that? Oh. You see what that is? A little bit of schmutz, as my mother would say, a little bit of dirt. We've got Arthur Frank Ruffolo joining us, and we've got Boomy Benjamin, sound healer, DJ Gardner, apparently. We've added to her list of things that she does also. And I love going to commercial break, because Frank, yesterday we had Paul Martinian, and he does many, many things. Reminds us of you. He's voiceover for HBO and National Mitsubishi commercials. He's been in advertising. He does Bono for the U2 tribute band. He's a children's author. But he did not understand what anointing is, because we were talking about you, and he said sometimes he just gets messages and he knows something's going to work. He doesn't hear them as messages. He just knows it's a feeling, however it comes to him. So we're trying to explain to him about you, and then I heard you talking to Boomy, so I think the words come better from you.
So anointing. Some people, I was given the gift through a prophet to channel the Holy Spirit to people that I touch. So I anoint with blessed oil, and it's up to the person whether they want to accept it or not. I'm like an electric outlet. So I can present you with the healing power of the Holy Spirit. If you accept it, it's up to you. If you don't accept it, then I can feel it. It'll come back right back in through me. So, and depending on your faith and how you open yourself up to it, you can then accept the Holy Spirit and be anointed. And a lot of people, if you watch some of the televangelists, I can't say if they're faking or not, but some may be. But if you watch some of the televangelists, when they touch somebody and they fall, that happens. That's called falling in the Spirit. So
We've seen that happen here.
Yeah.
it happened here.
Now let me ask you, some
falling in the Spirit.
of the people that you see them do this on television, big productions. I mean, thousands of people in some of these huge stadiums that they do. And sometimes you have to question whether or not what's going on is real, because there's a lot of stuff tied in to the spirituality of it.
I can't really say, I can't really make a comment whether that's real or not.
But what about the people? Are people, to have that gift, is it recognizable? Is it something that we all have inside that we can achieve?
it's a gift that has to be given to you to channel the Holy Spirit. And then you have to be blessed to channel the Holy Spirit.
So how do you know whether or not you're blessed enough to receive a gift? Or you don't?
You don't. You don't. You don't know if you're blessed to receive the gift. Not everybody has a gift. A lot of priests don't have that gift. I mean, it's something that you're chosen to do. Shocked me when I was chosen, but it's something you're chosen
Well,
to do.
that's the word right there, chosen.
You're chosen.
And these are people, women and men?
Excuse me?
Women and men?
Women and men. If they're chosen, they can do the gift. And it's up to the recipient, whoever they bless, it's up to them to accept that gift. Not everybody receives the Holy Spirit. Not everybody is healed. It's up to, that's why I don't like, they would say, oh, you're a healer. I'm not a healer. I can just present that power to you. And whether you accept it or not is up to you.
Now, do you go around explaining this to people in general?
No, I don't do it for money. I mean, a lot of people you see on TV, they do it for money, and then that's sort of like negates what they were given the gift for.
This is what I was trying to get to before.
Monetizing. We've talked about monetizing spiritual gifts.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do it for money.
And you're not supposed to stand up on a soapbox.
No, you're not
and
supposed
say-
to stand up and say, hey, $50, I'll heal you. No.
And you're not supposed to be in a soapbox and say, I'm a healer, I'm a this, I'm
No.
a that. You're not supposed to.
It's like when it's known and word of mouth, somebody comes up to you, hey, can you bless me? Can you? Yeah, sure. But I don't go out, hand out cards saying $20 and here you go.
Right.
That defeats the purpose.
So it's up to the individual. So if you wanted to do an anointing with Boomy, she needs to, in her mind, have faith
She would
and
have to.
accept
She would
it,
have to accept
the gift.
the Holy Spirit. If she doesn't,
Now, let me
Okay,
ask
so
you a
that-
question. How important is it to have a clean vessel when receiving gifts?
that's not important.
That's not important? Because
you
I
can-
felt,
I have touched people that were unclean, if you want to call it that way. And I've seen it happen to me, it's happened to other people, where that presence ended up in me.
okay. Now, what I
And
mean,
I did not feel good for a while. So it does not happen, you do not happen, the person receiving the healing does not have
Have a
to
clean
have
vessel.
a clean vessel to receive the healing. A lot of times, that's why they're getting healed. Because a lot of people don't get a physical healing, they get a spiritual one.
it's like I have felt that, say, a year ago, for example, I was starting to go down this rabbit hole where I started drinking. I was eating things that I shouldn't have been eating. So one day I got up, I'm like, okay, I need to change this. So I stopped drinking, stopped eating the red meat, and I felt that in order for me to continue doing what I'm doing with this instrument, I need to have a clean vessel so that that can channel through my body and in order for me to spread out that healing to others.
Right.
So you're saying that that's not important.
Not important. If you want to get a spiritual healing or a blessing or anointing, you don't have to be clean, have a clean vessel or a clean spirit, because that's what it's all about. That's what the blessing does.
Okay. Okay.
And how have you seen this change people's lives?
I've seen physical healing, people physically healed. I've seen people in wheelchairs with arthritis get up and dance.
Wow.
Wonderful.
What a gift.
The one most dramatic that I was involved with, the woman came in, she came to the apparition site to be blessed, and she was wearing a cast on her leg. She said, what happened to you? She goes, I was doing something really stupid, she said. She was dancing in her living room with her granddaughter, and she tore her Achilles tendon. She went to the hospital, they put a cast on, they said, you're gonna have to have it repaired, you're gonna have to have surgery. So she came hobbling in with a cast to be prayed over. So I prayed over her on that cast, and then she went back to the doctor, they took an x-ray and it was already healed. You know, she didn't have to have surgery. So,
It's remarkable. So when people come to you, you have no judgment on a clean vessel and not clean vessel.
No.
You just do the gift that you've been given.
right. I touched someone, there was a visitor of the apparition site. The visionary came to me and said, because she could tell by just looking at somebody what the problem was. And she came to me and said, I was blessing people, and she came to me and said, you got to be careful with this one because there's something evil in him. There's something wrong. So everybody had to come and bless him, and I blessed him. Then everybody came around, and when I touched him, I can feel that it came into me. I got sick. I had to sit down.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful with that.
You
have
got to be
those
careful with
spirits
that
will
because
attach
so
themselves.
I
yeah.
carry a special cross that protects me from that. But
Yeah.
after a while, after coming there 2 or 3 times, he was fine. After a while.
That's
It's not-
amazing.
sometimes they need to be blessed more than once. So it depends on. I can tell you a story that visionary did. The governor of Cartagena, which is like the mayor, his daughter was in her 20s. She was a model. She had a couple of kids, and she lost that little. She couldn't get rid of the baby fat from the pregnant fat. So she decided in Colombia. She decided to go have liposuction. Something happened during the surgery. She went into a coma from the surgery. So they called all the specialists from Colombia in Colombia, and they said, she's brain dead, nothing we can do. Like 20-some years old. So the mayor, or the governor, who has a lot of money, he chartered a jet and flew her to Jackson Memorial in Miami. And he called in a leading neurologist or whatever they are from California to come in and did a whole bunch of tests. And they said, she's brain dead. There's nothing we can do. She was in a fetal position by then, in bed. Alive, but no response. So one of the friends of the family happened to be a friend of this visionary. Her name was Rosa Lopez in Hollywood, and asked Rosa to go to the hospital to anoint her. So she went to the hospital, and the first thing that happened when Rosa walked into the room is the young girl opened up her eyes.
Wow.
And looked at her. So Rosa anointed her and said, I'm going to have to come back here 3 times to anoint her. And she left. When she came back again the second time, the girl was sitting up in bed eating pudding. They were feeding her pudding. So eventually she was okay. And we met as volunteers. She came to the operation site. We met her. She was limping. She's because of the in the coma, she had lost motor on her right side. She was bad. She was still limping. It was like 2 or 3 years later. So we talked to her and said, what happened? She said when she went into that coma, she knew everything that was going on.
Wow.
She couldn't say anything. She was like trapped. She saw everything. She heard everything. But there was nothing. And then the first thing is when the first thing she said, the first thing I saw is when this visionary walked into her room, she saw her walk in.
That's amazing.
But she has seen you walk, other people walking as well.
No, she hadn't seen, no. But that's the first time she opened her eyes, when she saw
Okay.
her walk in.
But she
But she
understood
heard everything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she was brain dead.
She was
according
brain
to
dead.
The medical
medically, but she heard everything. She was like awake in prison inside of something that her mind couldn't escape.
And she couldn't come out of it until
couldn't come out of
this-
it.
You know, it's really strange you say that. Because you know how they have do not resuscitate and all those legal things that they do to people in comas and all that. And everybody says they're brain dead. That's it. They can't hear. They can't. And somebody pulls a plug. I never understood that. Because you don't know what they're feeling.
You don't.
She's a perfect example
And
of
she's
that.
a great example. That's a book in itself right there.
It's a great example.
Wow. And so she's walking and everything now? And what
She
did the
walks
doctor
with a
say,
limp.
Frank?
She's going to have a permanent limp because she was in a coma for 3 or 4
limp
months.
is not
Now
bad
she's
when
fine.
you're considered dead.
Yeah,
Right.
now she's fine.
So what do the doctors say?
Oh, it's a miracle. We can't
miracle.
explain.
Here we go. They
You
throw the
know,
M
we
word.
don't understand.
I spoke to a friend of mine, and she knows who
But
it
you
is.
do have to believe it is a miracle. It is a spiritual miracle of
I'm not
It's
gonna,
not a medical
I'm
miracle,
not going to
it's
go
a-
to that because I've seen cysts and tumors and things disappear. So we get a lot of miracles
That
going on
does
here.
happen,
Or maybe it's the only way to be if you sort of open your eyes. I got a friend of mine that called me. They gave his father 3 days to live. Remember this?
Yep.
And I go outside and I take the phone and I said, I want to talk to the doctors. I want to talk to whoever's in charge because your father has more than 3 days to live. Oh, Freddie, he doesn't need it. I says, listen to me, buddy. Your father's going to be fine. Do not pull the plug on your father. I want you to walk into his room, and I can get him on the phone, he'll tell you. I want you to change the frequency of his room. I want you to shave him. I want you to clip his hair. I want you to put music on. I want you to change his shirt. I want you to sit him up
Yeah.
and watch what happens. This was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
The man is eating now and talking.
That's
There you go.
great. Wow.
And the doctors want to know what the hell happened.
You changed the energy in the
Another
room.
miracle?
Yes.
My father had blood clots in his lungs with a saddle across. Every 26 doctors, they flew 4 from California. He's in the medical books. They don't understand when my father was alive. And they say, how do you feel? I said, I feel great. How do you feel? And they found the blood clots by accident. And the doctor says, we're going to leave your father alone because we don't know why he didn't die when they went through his heart into his lung. It wasn't 1. It wasn't 2, a ton. So what I'm saying is miracles. Maybe the definition of miracle is to have a little faith. Because my father was very religious. And he used to say, listen, when it's God's turn to tell me to go, not man's,
There
I'll
you
go.
There you go.
So I'm really intrigued in this story because it just opens up a whole bunch of people
Right.
that I've known that have been in comas and they've pulled the plug on these
And you know that more and more, you see more and more hospitals and doctors praying over patients than they did before. Why?
It's true. Things that you don't learn that aren't modern medicine, that goes back to faith, spirituality. And it's not about religion because you've had all religions in here
Yep.
that come to you and say, please anoint me.
It's all about faith.
It's all about faith.
That's it.
You know, it's funny because the world seems to be going upside down. And I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about faith. I'm talking about believing in something, just believing in fellow man, believing in one another. Forget about anything above that because if you can't believe in what's in front of you that you can see and touch, how the hell are you going to believe on something you can't see or touch? You can only feel. And the witness of what's going on for the 3rd time in our history. Now, there's been a lot of wars and everything else, but I'm talking about the modern era, where one bomb can really destroy millions and millions of lives and everything else, as is happening in Europe now. It just surprises me that we don't learn, like Napoleon didn't learn, you know, and he attacked in the winter in Russia. A lot of people keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. I don't get it.
Yeah, a lot of people keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They call that insanity.
Insanity.
Yes.
So the world is more insane than it's ever been. More insane that you can get up into a school and shoot kids and everything else, minding their own business and innocent lives. And then you're going to have an idiot who's going to mock that it never happened. I'm just sitting here and I look at the people in charge, like what's happening in California That lady, they finally got rid of her. She's in charge, and she's doing racial slurs in charge for California. I mean, what are you doing? That's just stupidity at the excess.
Well, you think about when Frank and Christine went to this lady's home. For years, thousands of people would go over and over again, which shows you people really need to find their faith. They're looking to come together in a central space. And unfortunately, once she passed, it's no longer there.
No longer there.
But yet you were all out doing They Walk Among Us, which is pretty remarkable. So she did her deed, right? She
Yep.
passed on her gifts.
And then it's up to you to now pass it on, teach it, show it, live it, believe it. You know, it's really funny because faith is something that if you stop thinking about it, then in my essence, it's gonna come to get you. The hardest thing to do is to keep it always in the back of your mind, the front of your mind, your left arm, your right arm, always. You know, one of the reasons that they wear the cross on chains and everything else is, I was told, was that Christ wanted you to constantly remember something bigger than you. The Jews do it with the yarmulke, and the temples are huge and everything else, and every faith has something to size up. Man is smaller than everything else. So you wear jewelry, you wear different things to remind you, to hold on to your belief, whatever that may be, but to believe in it, because no faith, no belief, almost none, is destructive. It's supposed to be man comes together to help man.
Love.
This thing about women not being in that cycle until recently, that makes no sense to me either.
No.
You know, I don't understand. You have a vehicle that gives life and she's not even to a man. Again, insanity, over and over again.
With faith, it comes down to love, pouring love into one another, empowering one another. When we think of everything that is going on in the world, back to what you were saying, there are so many frequencies that are flying around us, that are passing through us. And those very low frequencies that are causing those people to do things that, evil things, really bad things to one another. So it's all about the conditioning of the world and what we're listening to, going back to the media, the news.
Yep.
We need to hold on to those things that are good, to love, to faith, and
How do you
empowering
hold
one
on to faith? Because I know you're very spiritual.
It starts
hope-
with believing in yourself, because a lot of people don't believe in themselves. They don't know who they are.
That's the number one enemy.
That's
You know,
it.
your biggest friend is
Your
a
own
mirror.
thoughts, yes.
Biggest friend is a mirror. And the funny thing is that we speak about who defines judgment. You know, you can have confidence in you until somebody says the wrong thing on the given day, and all of a sudden your confidence goes in the toilet, and you're back to you in the mirror. If you can't hold on to that, then you're susceptible to, I mean, why is it that people can judge other people? If you don't wear a green hat, there's something wrong with you. If you speak somehow, there's something wrong with you. There's always this judgment. You know, if you want to look good for yourself, because that's who you are, there's something wrong with that. Let me show you hate because I don't like what you're doing. When you write scripture in books that are disguised as readings, and they show you this is going to occur, and it does, why do you say, nah, this guy's scary. I don't want to talk to him because this guy, he's a warlock, or he's a witch, or he's this, or he's that. It's insightful to learn. So learn. It's why God gave you 2 eyes and 2 ears, so you can use that and 1 mouth. Use this to learn, not this. It gets me so riled up that people are given a gift every morning, every night, depending on your schedule, and you should say thank you. Not I hate you. I don't like you. I don't like the way you are. I don't like this. I don't like what you write. I think you're full of beans. I don't like that instrument. I don't like the fact that she's wearing a hat. Where is all this coming from? Why? Oh, and I got a solution to your nighttime that I like. Frequency travels better at dark than it does when the lights are on. Just the same. Just the
Why he
same.
always keeps it dark in here. I said it's got to be more than keeping our electric bill down.
No, it's the
Although I
same.
do appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I thought you would. All right.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about sound, frequency, more of what Boomy's been up to the past 6 years, and of course, Frank and the many journeys of Frank Ruffolo. Give us a call, 888-994-4995. Every time he's here, he opens up a little bit more.
It's always
Studio
something
A.
more, yeah.
Pretty
Yep,
amazing.
yep.
Give us a call, and we'll be right back.
When it comes to investigative services, you can't settle for inattentive or irresponsible services. PI Network of Florida is a firm that you can rely on for actionable insight for personal or professional matters. From surveillance and insurance claims to background checks and identity theft, the investigative services are extensive. With over 30 years experience and 2 decades of serving the community, PI Network of Florida is trustworthy and reliable. Call today at 786-768-4394. Trust your gut. Trust PI Network of Florida.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come on down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are 2 good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
If your family is suffering from inflation and high costs caused by Lois Frankel's reckless policies, Republican Dan Franzese is clearly your best choice for Congress. Dan is a successful businessman who understands finance and economics. He's not a politician. Dan grew up blue collar and knows how tough inflation is on working families. Dan Franzese will go to Washington and fight the liberals who are killing us with inflation. Dan Franzese for Congress.
I'm Dan Franzese, and I approve this message.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Now, do these sounds tell a story? Because sometimes an instrument like this has a history that tells a story, that tells something in time, something in the past.
I believe with these, when I play like this, you're feeling me, whatever I'm feeling. So it's telling a story of how I'm feeling in the present moment. And when I play for others, I tap into others spiritually as I'm playing. So when I'm feeling what they're feeling, I play a certain way. And I use backing music where it just flows with what the whole feel and frequency of everything and what they're feeling or what I'm feeling. And just using myself as an example with you guys here and playing the backing music. It's what I'm feeling right now, and what I'm feeling is peaceful. What I'm feeling is joy.
Mm-hmm. It's like we heard about how a bell clears, we use sage and we use other things to clear. 100%, when everyone comes in here tonight, you know there's a different feel in this space than there was before Boomy started. Between Boomy and Frank.
And it's true because it lingers. You can actually feel the change. I love music. It's funny, somebody just asked me the other day that the music tempo of things that I do has increased. And I says, yeah, because I see the magic of what it accompanies. But then I meet people like Frank, and I meet people like Sally, and everybody has a different version of what they're doing. So at the radio station, they're asking me, what's going on? And that's usually the first thing I look for is if somebody asks you what's going on, then they're paying attention, right?
Right.
And I said, no, what do you mean? And then I get the definition of what they're assuming is going on and changing. And but we've been doing this 7 years. We have been doing it in different levels, different takes, different swings. Because like Frank, you don't get up one day and say, listen, I'm going to show you something. And it's not the way it works because you want acceptance, right? You want people to ask you, will you anoint me? Will you heal me? Will you help me? You have to ask, and you have to take it in because you're asking, not because I'm telling you. So it changes the dynamics of what goes on around us.
Because you have to ask.
Always have to ask.
You once said that to me, I have to ask or invite. You can't just heal people because they have to want it, they have to accept it.
You have to be invited, indeed, just like we invite the Spirit into us to heal us. Yes, there must be an invitation set. You must be open.
And what have you been doing the past few years? A lot of introspection, it seems.
Speak into your mic, hon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just growing. Just really growing spiritually and staying connected and becoming one with the universe and all that's around me. And like I said, my focus has been through music to be that healer through music. So there are times where we're just having a great time, jumping up and just raising the roof. And then there are other times where we're becoming centered and balanced. So I've just been working on me and just really owning my gifts. And it's been a wonderful journey. It really has. And I just thank God for so many things. Like I said before, I've been just blessed in so many ways. Having to be connected with people like yourself, like Elise and so many other people, and those who are just empowering one another, empowering me and motivating me to be more of who I am and just stepping into the world with my gifts. That's it. Just connecting myself.
Have you always been like this?
I have. I believe I became more like this when I returned to Florida. Initially, I'm really born and raised here in West Palm Beach, Florida. And then I left to go to Atlanta, Georgia for like 20 years to really find myself in music. And I did. And it wasn't until 2013 I came back here. My mom actually had brain surgery. She had a tumor. And little did I know that coming back here was going to really change my life. And that's when I got more into the meditation. Because before I was like, going to church and praising God. But when I got more into meditation and becoming one with nature, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much more to the realm of the spirit realm that I knew before. And then I began to become more at peace with myself inside, connecting with my inner child.
How do you make the time to fit it all in?
How do I make the time to fit it all in?
Yep.
I take time throughout the days, every day, to become centered. It's just important for me to have that clarity and focus in order to function and move forward during the day. And because if I don't, I'm just all over the place. And you can tell when I'm not centered. So it's important to take that time. I don't care if it's in the morning, afternoon, late at night. You make that time for yourself. You must.
You know, they both make me sit here and realize nothing happens quickly.
It doesn't.
Right? Frank's messages over all of these years, it's a process to get the information out there. And he writes it, and then it needs to be edited. He needs to have clarity on the message that he is giving. Bumi with her sound, you can heal, but it's not an instantaneous heal. It takes time.
That's funny.
What's it called? Patience?
Take a pill and heal. No, that doesn't work that way.
It does not. It does not.
And it's funny because we're the ones that dictate the time. You know, you recognize your gift, and then you recognize what you're supposed to do with your gift. But I think she hit it right on the head, because unless you recognize yourself, you ain't never gonna. You can't read something if you can't read yourself. You can't do something if you don't understand what you could do. You're a sphere. You know, you are a vessel. And if you don't take care of that vessel, insecurities, depression, anxiety, eating bad, acting bad, just doing things to hurt you internally, even though you're not hurting anybody else, how are you going to function to help others and spread the word and everything else about how good it feels if you can't take care of yourself? It's always been the age trauma on that. Always has been relevant. But you got to love yourself. And you got to be able to say it, and then you got to be able to believe it, and then you got to hold on to it. What they tell you, it's easier to marry her, hard to hold on to her?
Bumi, do you give presentations or work with people, women, on empowerment, believing in yourself, faith?
Do I give presentations? I do sound baths. I do, and I talk to I've done it for groups, individuals, and I talk to them about holding on to their faith. I talk to them a lot about emotional clearing in order to clear the emotional baggage mentally as well, and then be able to create the life you want to live with peace, love, and harmony. So I do. Yes, I do.
Do you find they have a hard time from their day job and paying their bills?
It is hard.
It
is hard because, one, you have people who are dealing with a lot of trauma. For one, we're all dealing with trauma. We really are. And then from the day-to-day life, you go from living in chaos with so much going on, and then when you put that time aside for yourself and you find this peace and you're being centered, next day you're back to the same old routine. So that's why it's so important to keep that practice and centering yourself and putting that time aside for yourself so that you can have that focus and clarity throughout the day and be able to deal with whatever circumstance or situation better if you were not centered.
Frank, how do you do it? How do you keep emotional mental clarity?
Right. That's I pray and I write. That's how I keep mental clarity.
And dancing. It's so important to dance.
And that's, I get my emotions out on paper. And that's how I keep focused. It's what I've found when I have anointed people is a lot of people are scared because they're afraid that if they accept the anointing that they're going to change. And they don't want to change. Or they're afraid of what's going to happen. Oh, I don't want to get anointed because I don't know what's going to happen. And they're involved in their self and their life. And they're not open to future believing. Everybody, I think the generation today is more like a me thing. Me. Everything's me. And they don't want to expose themselves to something different, something that may change them, because they're afraid of what they're going to change to, or they don't know what's going on. So that's people that I have touched that I can tell they're like rigid, stand back, they don't want to do anything because they're afraid of what may change in them. And they don't know what's going to change, if anything changes.
Lack of control?
It's like they will not be they're not in control of what is going to happen. And they're trying to retain that control. No, don't touch me. I'm okay.
To believe what happens.
It's funny because if you're in the ocean and you're in a ship and the ship goes down and you're in the middle of the ocean, if you panic, you're going to drown. If you panic, you're going to drown. You can fight the waves, you can fight the water, you can fight the sharks, anything you can fight, you're going to drown. If you hold your breath and you lay on your back and you sort of relax,
right,
then you have a chance. Doesn't mean you're going to get out of this thing, but you have a chance better than to fight. So I always understood, never understood why fighting something they think is going to give you clarity.
No, I don't understand either. And people do that. They fight it. I don't know why. I don't know.
Fear.
I don't know why they think something's going to happen. Where they're going to. I have no idea.
I think it's fear. I think people fight what they're fearful of, which is pretty much everything,
Yeah.
unless you can control it. So you want to get better, but you're fearful of what's this anointing going to be? Will somebody judge me if I had it? What is it? Because it's not the norm. I mean, Boomy, have you ever met anyone that did anointings before?
I have, long time ago. I have. but
Right, so it's not commonplace, but it's not commonplace to meet women that play the didge either.
And I agree with you. It's this fear, and people even fear the possibilities of what good things can come
Right.
about, and it's really the unknown, and they want that certainty. So it is fear, but we have to learn to embrace that fear and let it work with us. For us.
I've had people say, I don't want to be touched because if I get anointed and then I fall on the floor, I'm going to look stupid.
As opposed to standing up looking stupid.
And so I was standing up and looking stupid.
You know,
what are they going to think of me if I'm on the floor? It's perception. There's a lot of people are just afraid of change or possible change
And change can be
that
good.
they have no control of.
Change can be good, and healing can be a whole lot better.
Until they see that you do it and everything gets better, and then everybody wants a piece of that. but they're doing it for all the wrong reasons. So it's not going to work that way. You can't copycat happiness. You just got to do it. It's got to come from you.
Right. Let go, release, and inspire others with the journey that you're on.
But they got to pick it.
Yeah.
They got to pick that journey.
Make
you
a
know,
choice.
some journeys have glass on it, and you sort of have to endure the pain to get to the other side. It's not always a give me. You know, happiness doesn't come without some yin and the yang. I just laugh because people think they're going to walk through this door and now I've been...
Resent.
It doesn't make any sense. When I was an altar boy, there was a priest, and the priest used to tell me, I was 12, 13, whatever I was, that you got to be good. In order to get the Eucharist, you got to be good. If you're not good, you can't eat this. And I said to the priest, you eat it? Are you always good? Yes, I'm always good. I said, but you're yelling at me, because he was yelling at me. He says, no, I'm teaching you. I said, that's not the way I'm perceiving it. That's not the way I'm taking it. You're yelling at me. So I think you owe me a couple of those crackers. And then they loved me after that, and they learned to respect my wishes, and they spoke to me differently. I was an altar boy forever.
But you know what's so interesting about spirituality in that is people will tell you, I got a new piece of jewelry, I got a new car, I got a new house, my kids are doing this. But you very rarely hear someone say, I found spirituality and I love myself, right? We're much more focused on the me, the material things that we share, and probably the people we know don't really want to know what you've just bought, nor do they care. But you tell them that, but you never tell them I found spirituality, I've healed, I feel better. Maybe it is a miracle, however people perceive it, but we're so tied into the other side.
Right.
It's funny, when I went to get the car I drive now, I had a smaller car. And I told the guy, if I don't get the same car, I don't want it. He says, oh no, you got to upgrade. So I said, I'm not paying you for an upgrade. And I said, I got to go. And I know this guy over 15 years. He runs out to the parking lot. He says, okay, we'll make a deal. I says, I really don't care. Give me a Volkswagen. I don't care what I drive. I really don't care. And then I found out that when I was in the insurance business, people used to look at what I drove here in Florida to see if they wanted to do business with me.
Wow.
So I said, you want to go in my car to do the deal? Is that going to make a difference? Or do you want to sit down and listen to logic and let's do this logically? So you're right, judgment, who judges? Who says you can't wear this hat or these shoes or
I love
this
that
or
you all
that?
have the same hat on. That's pretty cool.
I mean, who says you can't? Honestly. And you know, you're always saying women get together and teach them. And I'm going to start men clubs.
You know, the old line, why can't you wear white after Labor Day?
Exactly, you do.
You know, I didn't even know that till I came to Florida.
It's really
And that's a
interesting.
thing. That's a thing, right? I didn't know that until I came down here.
People just need to get in touch with their spirituality. Florida, you can. I don't know. It's a different place.
But I don't care. If you don't like what I'm worried, then don't look at it. Simple. I don't understand where. Now, that they make a big deal about. The bad stuff going on around us, they don't make a big deal about.
See, I'm hoping that we can change some of that with the platforms that we create. I'm hoping that behind these yellow walls on the outside, that we actually create a space of spirituality and healing. And more people come forward that we get to do this with.
You know, we just talked to a lot of people to start new shows, and I tell them, I want you to do this because the community right now needs healing. It needs healers. It needs people who can do these instruments, who can write these books. And then we have to find a way of people to listen, which is what we're all about. And we put it out there, And you get all this resistance. Well, I got this magic pill, but I don't want to share it because I don't know if it's going to be successful. I don't know if the people are going to look at me like I'm strange. I don't know if my hair is right, if my shoes are right, and all this noise. I said, when you walked in, you didn't leave with that. You showed me what you could do. Like Paul, when he got dressed up in that whole outfit and he sold it to people who didn't want to, the Miami sandwich place, Miami Pubs or whatever.
Miami Subs, yes.
Subs. And he walked in and he sold the account to them based on something he did with a whole costume. And they said, I don't want to talk to you. Get away from me. Then they signed him to a multi-million-dollar contract.
Oh, that's
when they saw it. So they opened up their eyes. He opened up their eyes. So when I look at Frank, anybody around Frank that will listen for 2 minutes, it may change your life. Simple. But you have to want to do it. What? What you got?
Look at my head. I got a hat on.
I noticed that. I saw that.
Thank you.
Wow, how
I
do
feel
they
like
do
you,
that?
Freddie. I don't know how they do that. That's kind of
Make
funny.
it white. Make it white. Make it white. Yeah.
And there it goes. Do we have
There
a
you
white
go.
one? We'll go to commercial break. I can actually grab a real white one from the studio.
I want to find out how they did that.
National Train Your Brain Day. Maybe we should retrain our brains to be more appreciative, to be more spiritual, and to be more healing. You know, spirituality is not religion.
What does that mean?
Train your brain, like what Judy Herman does.
Who?
Judy.
Pee Wee
The brain
Herman.
Judy.
Oh, Judy Herman.
All right,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to take a quick break. Stay tuned, more to come.
I'm going to call her.
We'll be right back. She's been on my mind. I got to call her.
Judy.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 855-348-5925. That's 855-348-5925. Again, 855-348-5925.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
When you wear Zamboni Couture, you can feel pride knowing that you are supporting a small woman-owned business. We advocate for women's empowerment and always embracing feminine freedom and equality. Our fashion is all about style, quality, passion, and color through the use of amazing fabrics to help you find your own individual style. Let us inspire you with beauty and color. Follow us at Zamboni Couture on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or call us at 561-860-6099.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Singer-songwriter J.D. Danner has been wowing crowds nationally and globally, touring U.S. military bases and LGBTQ events in support of Pride. With over 5,000 YouTube hits, J.D. captivates his audiences with her Joan Jett meets Johnny Cash style, with her newest single, Nothing But Faith. Join us Friday, October 14th for a live performance at the Arts Garage for Life in a Song, The J.D. Danner Story.
It's all right because Freddie's here for the day. So what have we learned? It's White Hat Day here at the cafe. We keep the faith is what it is. Everyone, this one's AC is broken, so they can't get here. Tri-Rail Station is 10 minutes away, but it's raining, so it looks like our night crew isn't coming in.
Garcia's not coming in?
I haven't heard from Garcia. It's okay. We got this.
What do you mean it's raining, you can't come in?
We got this. It's not a problem.
When I was a football coach, one of the coaches asked the head coach, because we used to practice in weather like this. It's Florida, you know? If you don't practice in this weather, you don't practice. And, Coach, can we get rain gear? He came back the next day, he gives the guy a hat. He says, let's go, that's the rain gear. So I'm used to walking and stuff like this. It doesn't bother me. And you get wet, you change your clothes wherever you get to where you're getting, and then you go from there.
And you keep going. Tomorrow night we're going. It's tomorrow night already? Friday night.
Friday night's tomorrow.
We're going to be at Arts Garage tomorrow night for the J.D. Danner concert. It's all of her originals. It's her anthology of her life through music. So if anyone is interested, come on out and join the fun. I think Paolo's going to be there. Paul Solomon and his wife are going to be there. You and I are going to be there. Boomy, do you know J.D. Danner?
No, I don't.
She is a good person to meet.
I must.
She's got great music, and it's all about empowering women to step into their authentic self.
That's a nice thing tomorrow.
I'm going to look her up, definitely.
Tomorrow at Arts Garage.
Okay.
There you go.
We have
And
to
there's
come
a
out.
break in this. Boomy, how can people find you? We're going to wrap a little early because of the weather. I want to keep the show going.
Well, you can find me through my website, which is sheerelan.com. That's SheerElan.com. There you will find information about my company, where I do audio, video, and also the disc jockey services, as well as my sound baths as well. You can follow me on social media, Boomy Benjamin on Facebook, and there's also DJ Boomy on Instagram.
More to come. I'm so interested in the sound bath and sound healing. Changes the vibration. Maybe that's what the world needs, is a generalized vibrational healing.
Are we doing something Monday that has crystals and all that stuff?
Yes. Moksha Grace. 7 o'clock.
What's the name of the show?
Name of the show is, it's with Moksha Grace Coaching. I don't remember the name of the show, but I'll get to you on that one.
But it has crystals and things like that.
Yes, she does a lot of healing and spiritual healing. Her daughter, interesting someone for you to meet. Her daughter was diagnosed with neuropathy, retinopathy, cancer of the eye, when she was 3 years old. And talk about being touched by the angels of why she is still here. She's now 26 years old, 26 going on 46. and what she accomplishes and process and putting everything here, but she and her mother know it is all through grace. And they told a story yet last week when we got to interview them. They had to send her to another hospital because she just was not getting the treatment she needed down here. And as her mother was praying over her, this man walks in and sits down in jeans and a polo shirt and has hours of a conversation as to fear and faith and happiness and hope. And then as they were having this conversation, her daughter started to respond to the treatment. And the next day, when she had turned the corner and started to heal, she went to find this pastor of the hospital who did not exist. He was not a pastor at the hospital. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody else saw him in the room, nor was he any part of the hospital chain. Wow. And she wrote this pastor a letter, and she's never been able to find him to give him the letter. And every time, then she loses the letter. She puts it away. She never finds it until she needs it. And suddenly when she needs to hold back onto that faith, that letter magically appears.
That's amazing.
It's an amazing story, right? So they're going to be doing a show at 7 o'clock on Monday night right here on Oldies, right here in the studio, bringing an audience.
Looking forward to that. Looking
Bring
forward
in
to
the crystals.
7:30. We have Mia playing music on the
with
piano.
Mia, the concert pianist, so that'll be on Monday. We got a lot of things coming on.
Monday at 6 o'clock, we got a new show also. She's going to be
How to
teaching
Make Money with Laura.
How to Make Money with Laura. Love that subject.
So a lot of great stuff. So all these things I always remind, and Christine's shaking her head, when you hear these stories that it's just, you know, by the grace of God, you were sent a gift. What do you do with those gifts?
It's what you do with them that's the secret.
Right? And Frank, people can find you and your books.
Yeah, you can find me on my website, frankarofolo.com. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Ruffolo Author, Twitter. I'm all over social media. I have an Amazon page, Frank A. Ruffolo. And if you want autographed copies of my books, you can email me at frankaruffolo@gmail.com. And if you say you are a fan of the Brooklyn Cafe TV show, or you saw me on the Brooklyn Cafe TV show, I have special pricing for you. So,
awesome.
And they make good gifts. Books make good gifts.
And if Frank is here, you want to him to sign one of the books or anything else, you want to meet him, let us know you're coming, and we'll set that up. Quick question: they want to know what's the best book to buy and read for today's environment messages. What's going on around us?
Tres Archangelis would be the best book of mine to read for what's going on. Gabriel's Chalice is the days leading up to Judgment Day. Tres Archangelis is 25 years after, but it just typifies man's lack of faith and what he has to do.
Man's lack of faith. Check it out. Frank, an amazing author, but so much more. Keep the faith, everyone. Boomy, it has been a pleasure. Frank, a pleasure. Stay dry, everyone. We're going to be here tonight.
Thank you.
Hopefully the storm will pass. Come on down to the cafe, have some wine. I think we're bringing wine.
It ain't raining in here, so
Some
don't worry
wine,
about it.
some music, some fun, some networking. Kind of time to relax and keep the faith. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time. Have a great day, everyone.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.